A dramatic power struggle is unfolding at the heart of Washington as U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi confirms the departure of Lindsey Halligan, the controversial interim U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, a move that sharpens an already volatile clash between the Justice Department, the federal judiciary, and the limits of presidential authority. Bondi announced Halligan's exit late Tuesday on social media, blaming what she called the weaponization of Senate procedures by Democratic lawmakers. According to Bondi, the use of the so-called blue slip process made it impossible for Halligan's appointment to continue beyond its statutory limit. The circumstances that led to this outcome are deeply misguided, Bondi wrote, framing the episode as part of a broader struggle over a democratically elected president's ability to staff key law enforcement roles. But court rulings tell a far more damning story. Halligan, a former personal attorney to President Donald Trump with no prior prosecutorial experience, was sworn in as interim U.S. Attorney in September after Trump pushed out her predecessor, an official who had declined to pursue charges against two of Trump's political adversaries, New York Attorney General Letitia James and former FBI Director James Comey. Under Halligan's leadership, indictments were filed against both James and Comey. Judges swiftly dismissed the cases, criticizing them as politically vindictive and, more critically, ruling that Halligan never had the legal authority to bring them in the first place. Federal law allows the Attorney General to appoint an interim U.S. attorney for 120 days. But judges found Halligan's appointment unlawful because her predecessor had already exhausted that time limit, meaning only the federal bench, not the executive branch, could legally fill the vacancy. While the Justice Department argued it could make back-to-back interim appointments, at least 6 federal judges rejected that interpretation. Judicial frustration reached a breaking point this week. Judge David Novak ordered the removal of the title United States Attorney from an indictment signed by Halligan, warning that she was prohibited from presenting herself in that role. He went further, threatening disciplinary proceedings if she continued. Calling the situation a charade, Novak wrote that Halligan was masquerading as U.S. Attorney in defiance of binding court orders. In a separate move, Chief Judge Ma Hannah-Lauk formally declared the position vacant and ordered a public job posting. Bondi praised Halligan's service, saying she acted with courage and resolve, but Halligan's departure now stands as a stark symbol of a widening constitutional confrontation, one that raises profound questions about executive power, judicial authority, and whether the justice system itself is being pulled into the center of America's political wars.
Grand jury's huge shocker in high-profile Letitia James case. Drama as court blocks Trump revenge plan against James. Trump versus James feud deepens over bizarre mortgage fraud case. Trump DOJ fails miserably in Letitia James case for third time. A major legal setback has hit the Trump administration as a federal grand jury refused to indict New York Attorney General Letitia James. According to federal law enforcement officials who spoke with NBC News, this was the third time the Justice Department attempted to bring charges against her, and the third time it failed. The decision marks another dramatic turn in what many critics say has become a highly political effort pushed by President Donald Trump. For months, Trump has pressured the Justice Department to prosecute James, who led the civil fraud case that found him liable for inflating the value of his properties to secure financial benefits. Just last month, a federal judge threw out the earlier set of charges against James, along with a separate case against former FBI Director James Comey. The judge ruled that the prosecutor leading both cases, Lindsey Halligan, had been unlawfully appointed. Halligan had been named interim U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia directly by Trump. Despite that dismissal, the Justice Department tried again. Last week, prosecutors sought a new indictment in Norfolk, Virginia, and failed. Now, with the grand jury in Virginia refusing to indict James once more, the pressure campaign appears to have collapsed. James's attorney, Abby Lowell, sharply criticized the Justice Department for pursuing the case in the first place. He called the repeated attempts an effort to fulfill President Trump's political vendetta, and said the latest rejection shows the charges should never have seen the light of day. Lowell added that these efforts have stained the DOJ's reputation and raised serious questions about its integrity. The original case accused James of saving about $50 a month on a mortgage by listing a Norfolk home as her second residence. She pleaded not guilty before the charges were dismissed. Legal experts say the allegation was unusually minor for a federal criminal case, and career prosecutors in Virginia had already determined the evidence was far too weak to move forward. It is extremely rare for a federal grand jury to reject charges. Prosecutors only need 12 jurors to meet the low standard of probable cause, which is far less than the unanimous verdict required at trial. The fact that this grand jury said no suggests the case had serious flaws. In another sign of internal turmoil, Trump's nominee to lead the U.S. Attorney's Office in Virginia, Eric Siebert, resigned after refusing pressure from the president to bring the case against James. For now, the failed indictment marks a major blow to Trump's efforts and a significant victory for Letitia James.
Times of India videos, your daily dose of India and the world. Global news, different views, and sharp analysis.
Pressure of expectation from your fans, your supporters.
That has often served as a backdrop for several Bollywood.
You're not a brute majority anymore. If you individually take out data.
Making sense of global conflicts. Tracking the new emerging world order.
Strike on Israeli military bases.
A multi-pronged.
To stay out of harm's way as Israel started bombing targets across.
Understanding changing alliances in a polarized world. Tune into TOI videos for all this and more. Click on the bell icon to subscribe and never miss an update.